So let me tell you a little bit about how this master plan was built. Like I said, we've been working for about 1.5 years now. The first phase had to do with asking people how they got around the region. What were some of the major corridors that they took around the region? How did they get from point A to point B? And it allowed us to look at what those major corridors are. But we also asked, along those corridors, which corridors do you think would be best for a transportation improvement? And so we compiled all this information. Folks studied these networks and told us what they liked, what they didn't like, and our goal with this is to come up with one hybrid network that we could work with. Which brings us to today. The first one is our preliminary long-term vision. This is a 2050 build-out. And what you're going to notice here is quite a bit of rail. The yellow line, for example, is commuter rail service. And you'll see that commuter rail service going all the way from Manatee County, all the way north into Hernando County, and it goes east into Polk County, connecting Lakeland. I do have to qualify that Polk County is not a part of our regional transportation authority, but again, we can't just stop it at the county line. We understand that growth is, we need to make that connection. Polk County has been very involved in this whole process from the beginning. Even though they're not officially a member, they've been extremely involved in the process today. So you'll see some commuter rail line service, and the red lines are actually light rail service. And you'll see the red rail lines concentrate in the core of the region, the Tampa, St. Petersburg, Pasco County, with a little bit connecting Sarasota and Manatee County. The idea, of course, is for someone who may live in South Hillsborough or something like that to be able to get on a commuter rail service, connect up maybe around the Brandon area, get on the light rail line, and take you into downtown, take you into West Shore, eventually take you over the Howard Franklin Bridge into Pinellas if that's where you want to go. So there's great connectivity here. The airport, of course, is included in that, as well as Tampa Stadium and those types of things. So we've got connectivity of major destinational areas as well as helping for travel and tourism reasons. You know, people who come to Tampa, St. Petersburg, and they want to get to the beaches. So that's connected there as well. The blue line that you see running all the way north, that's an express bus service, but it's in what we call a managed lane or a dedicated lane. It means it doesn't share traffic with other cars. It has its own lane, which makes it a true express bus service. That may be open to carpool also for folks who can drive with 2 or more passengers. It may or may not have a toll facility on it. We haven't, when we get to these corridor studies, we'll be able to investigate those options. But that's what that's designed to do, is to take folks from north to south and again from east to west. And then you'll see a variety of other things, something like bus rapid transit. Bus rapid transit is a technology it's a bus system that uses technology in order to make it more efficient. For example, it has something called signal prioritization, which means that when it gets to a traffic light, it gets the light first. It doesn't have to wait. So it's using technologies to make these systems a lot more efficient. So you'll see express bus services, rapid bus transit, light rail, commuter rail, all of that is included in the long-term vision. Then we flip over to the midterm vision. The midterm vision is kind of what we call our working plan. It's more of a 2030 build out. And on it, you'll notice that a key component of these is the light rail service that you see kind of in this core of our region. And connecting north and south, at least in the midterm vision, is the idea of the express bus service on its own dedicated lane. You'll also see express bus services throughout the region going from Citrus County all the way to Hillsborough and Pasco and Pinellas. So it's our kind of our working map and something that's going to be built out sooner, or sooner working plan. And all of this really cannot stand on its own. It's what we call the regional spine, and without the ribs to go to that spine's not very efficient. The ribs of this network is our supporting network, and that's where the local transit agencies come in. We need to make sure that we have strong local service in order to support this regional spine. And so part of what TBARTA is going to do is to ensure that the local services that we have now and the local services that we're going to have when these pieces are being built, are going to be built up, they're going to be fortified so that they can support the regional network. What that means is that over the course of the midterm piece of this, and throughout this process, we're looking to enhance the supporting network of the local bus services by triple in some cases. Adding new services, adding new routes, making routes more timely. Maybe if it's a 30-minute route, it might be a 15-minute route in the future. So we need to make sure that the supporting network is going to support the regional system. And again, it's like what I told you before, the big news earlier today about the high-speed rail. If we have somebody coming in from Orlando who wants to visit our beach, if they get off a rail transit station and they need to get down to their hotel on the beach, they need to make sure they can get onto a bus and get them to that door. It's door-to-door service, and that's what's really important. So we're going through this review process. It's almost in its final stages, ready for its public period. So it's still, of course, a draft until it's completely adopted by the board. So this is a really key, critical time for all of you to be getting this presentation, because if there are pieces of the plan that you would like to comment on to the board, this is a really good time. After the plan adoption, the board's going to get right to work with looking at priorities. We've got a lot of things on this midterm vision, and we need to know what we're going to work on first. And then we're going to talk about how do we fund that project? How are we going to pay for it? And then once those priorities are set, they're going to start doing detailed corridor studies. What you see on those maps are pretty much corridors. So we don't know exactly where that line is going to be drawn on which roadway. We have to look at things like right-of-way acquisitions and costs and those types of things. But that's what those corridor studies are designed to do. And again, those are all opportunities, especially for folks who live near those corridors, to definitely get involved and tell us, what you think needs to be there.